So my whole career, I'd been using AI on and off in different problems. I was always the most passionate about AI, of any interest that I had. I was frustrated as the decades rolled on after the 90s, where I thought AI was going to change the world much quicker than it did. There was the AI Winter people talk about, like in the 2000s, when progress seemed so slow. And then there was the ChatGPT moment that we all remember, which came out in November 2022. When I used it, my head exploded. I felt like, wow, I've been waiting my whole career for this. Now we have all the knowledge of humanity compressed into a large language model, which we can use for reasoning and natural language processing. I had exited my full-time role at my previous company. I was just chairman of the board, so I had time. And I said, okay, I'm going to learn AI. I'm going to learn generative AI, all the new stuff, as well as I know old AI. So I went deep into it. I started just reading all the papers. My full-time job was understanding large language models. And over a period of a month, I really learned it. During that time, we were all working on our own projects, but also collaborating and sharing ideas. One of the friends was August Rosedale, who's now my co-founder. He's actually the son of one of my best friends. He and I began working on the problem of autonomous AI agents for coding 2 years ago, so really early for anybody even thinking or talking about that. We were able to build this system that was pretty mind-blowingly good. You just give it a high-level objective and it would do software engineering, either building something from scratch or taking a large existing code base and adding a feature. It could edit files, run code, debug itself. Now there are a lot of these systems out there that do that, but there were none at that time. And it was so good that inspired us to launch a company together. But instead of focusing on coding as the use case, we felt the core large language models were going to have to get significantly better before that would be a real way that people would want to code. We had enough success with it that we realized if you look at all the knowledge worker jobs in America, 60% of US jobs are knowledge worker jobs, meaning somebody's doing them at a computer. A lot of those are much easier, less cognitively challenging than software engineering, right? There's a lot of repetitive grunt work. And we decided on this strategy of focusing on what we call the current operating system, which is this orchestration framework for AI agents, and how do you observe them and manage them in an enterprise mission critical way. So that was the idea of Qurrent 2 years ago, before anybody was talking about AI agents. At that time, what people were really focused on was the idea, we all had this aha moment with ChatGPT where we knew, like everybody knew, this is going to change everything. This is going to change how enterprises operate. But nobody really knew how. Most of the thinking at that time, 2 years ago, was everybody's going to have a really powerful assistant that they can direct to do their bidding. They can just say, book this flight, do this thing. And this co-pilot or personal assistant idea. We, from day one, kind of rejected that and believed what's really going to be interesting is AI entities in the workplace working alongside humans with their own responsibilities, full autonomy, making their own decisions and taking actions on their own. And it was hard to convince people that this was a legitimate approach. Everyone was still focused on this co-pilot idea. And it's only been over the last 6 to 9 months that the world has started to wake up to the idea of AI agents working autonomously.
I feel the same. I feel like Qurrent started 2 years ago, right? It was really in 2024, last year, when everybody started to talk about AI agents. And then this year it's in full bloom.
It really
but Qurrent
is
is really early in that sense.